All right, I want to talk about assets and inventory and the value that we want to put on them as buyers. Obviously, we know sellers want the very top value for the assets that are in their business and the inventory and all of that, but we just want to pay what's fair. And it's interesting when you look at how we value businesses traditionally. A big emphasis a lot of times is put on the balance sheet, and in that balance sheet, we want to see what all the business owns as far as assets. We want to see what inventory is there, and we're going to put a lot of faith that okay, if this is the value that's on that balance sheet, or this is what they paid for that inventory, that is worth me paying them for that inventory. But I don't want to go into depreciation or demand and anything like that. I want you to think about this from a historical viewpoint and start to change how you value business based on where we are in history. So you go back 100 years ago and you look at things like the industrial revolution and the industrial boom, and a lot of our country was just built. 1800, you got this huge amount of manufacturing that was taking place and growth and creating things and creating supply. And at that point, that was what was powerful. What was powerful all over the world was that the world had demand for things and that people couldn't really make things. It was hard to build these manufacturing plants. At that point, innovation that we take completely for granted, like assembly lines, that was like the latest, greatest thinking and huge innovations that changed industries. Was just, hey, maybe we should just have one guy focus on one thing and pass that down this line and have those people focus on different areas and all of that. So creating supply was the important thing because the demand was there. It was just who can meet the demand the quickest, and it created this explosion in manufacturing. I come from a town that was evident of that, and we were a little bit a victim of that. Chattanooga, Tennessee. You may have heard the song Chattanooga Choo Choos because, there's just a tremendous amount of industrial manufacturing that was going on there. A lot of trains that were coming through in the 70s, which is a much different city today. But in the 70s, there was we made the cover of National Geographic, and not for anything good. They took a picture in this helicopter and basically kind of showed the city from a sky level view, and it was just this big cloud of pollution that hung over the city because of all of this industrial manufacturing that was going on there, and just pumping that into the air. And I'm happy to say now we're actually a couple years ago, my old hometown was on the cover of Outdoor magazine, so that was really cool. And the cool thing is that we didn't have to really get rid of that manufacturing. What happened was that India caught up, China caught up, and they started creating tremendous amounts of supplies of things. And so we, as America, just had to get out of that business. We couldn't compete. There's billions of people over there, and they've got a tremendous amount of labor and all of that. So now we're at a place where there is an opposite. So you go back and you look at somebody like Henry Ford, and at that point he just had to make the cars. As long as he could make the cars and he could figure out, oh, if I can make the car a little bit quicker, then I'm going to sell more because people want to buy cars and there aren't any. There aren't any cars there. They want to buy the cars. All I have to do, all my innovation has to be focused on one thing: make more cars. That's what built Ford. And he's famously saying, and this quote sums it all up. He famously said that, people could have any color Ford they wanted as long as it was black. He didn't have to serve his customers. He didn't have to worry about that. And you fast forward to today and we can see how much that's changed. You can get a car in whatever color you want if you're willing to buy that car. And they're fighting each other and competing with each other in all the latest add-ons and self-driving cars and GPS and watch TV in your car, and just endless internet Wi-Fi in your car. There's endless things. They're trying to compete with each other because the whole thing is no longer supply. It's all about demand, and part of demand is attention, and that's where we are now. So we're in an economy where supply just doesn't matter. Your stuff doesn't matter. And I would even venture to say that not only is it not valuable, but it's actually a liability, because now if I take this inventory, I've got to pay to store it somewhere. I've got to make sure that when I get it, is it going to depreciate? How is over time? Is it going to be less value? Am I going to have to replace some of it because new features are coming out in that marketplace for that particular product? So you want to be very careful about how you negotiate that, and you want to think about the deals that you're doing based on where we are now and what's important when you buy these deals. And that's, how much demand have they created, and how are they creating demand, and then secondly, how are they creating the attention so that they can create the demand. So that's what's really crucial there, and not assets or inventory. And so when you're negotiating the inventory, one of the strategies that we use is, we want to pay for that inventory as we sell the product. I'm not going to pay you up front for something. I don't care about inventory. What I want to buy is the cash flow in the business, and I'm willing to pay you very well for that. But I'm not in the business of buying assets. I'm not in the business of buying inventory. I am in the business of buying cash flow. So I want to buy that cash flow, and I'll pay you for the inventory as that cash flow comes in. So keep that in mind as you're doing your deals, guys. Comment below. Be sure to subscribe if you're not. You got to turn on this notification thing as well if you know how to do that. But ask any questions. Have a couple emails that have come in, and I'm going to be answering those. If you've got questions, feel free to email me at ace@acechapman.com, ace@acechapman.com, and hit me up on Instagram at ace.chapman. Talk to you soon.